Hello there. So I had an experience 2 days ago. I've been kind of sitting on it because it was extremely important to me, and I've just been kind of bewildered as to how to go about this. But I know that I need to share it because it is basically my duty to do so. If you've been following me, you all know that I have been trying to contact spirit guides and benevolent extraterrestrials for a while. I've made a couple of successful attempts, but nothing really concrete. Well, Thursday night it happened for me around 5 a.m. So, what had happened was I went to Astral Project and I was successful, and I basically also discovered a really successful astral projection technique, a new one. I know I've given you guys several, but this is a new one and has a 90% success rating for me, at least. I will share that after this story. So I had a successful astral projection. I'll just tell you what happened, what I remember. I should have wrote this shit down, but I didn't. But this is all I remember. So I floated out my apartment wall, which is what I always do. And once I do that, I am in a mirror image of our reality. That's the 40 astral realm seems to be a mirror image of 3D reality. It has cities, people, houses, buildings, wildlife, everything. But the weird part is, it seems once you fly up into the air above the houses, above the ground, it kind of turns into like a rainbow dimension. I don't know how to explain it really. Everything just becomes so much more vibrant and colorful, and angelic. The beings seem different and everything. So I usually fly up high and then I play around or whatnot. Okay, this time I flew up above my apartment complex and there were children there, and they were wearing these robes of some kind and they were floating in the air, and when they saw me, they were flying by, and when they saw me they stopped, and I immediately started smiling, and what they reminded me of was Harry Potter. You know, that game that they play in the movie where they fly around on brooms and they wear those robes. I remember even looking down to see if they were on brooms, but they weren't. So we then got into a competition to see who could fly the fastest. And it didn't last long, because once they started hauling ass, I started hauling ass, and then we started pulsing, like teleporting basically, and then that's when I lost them. So I then went back down to the ground and I became rather unconscious. Like, it turned into a dream kind of, and I was with my father in a blacksmithing garage, because that's what he does. He welds and makes metal art, so metal crafts and yard art and stuff like that. So I was talking to him, and I have some unresolved karma with him, so I'm pretty sure that's why. Anyway, I remember then I started to become lucid again randomly. It was weird. I was going in and out. And I remember telling him, I just astral projected. I know how to astral project, Dad. And I remember he was just really aloof. And I don't know if he was a real entity or projection in my mind. I'm assuming that when I went into this zone or whatever, I started projecting my own reality with my consciousness, with my subconsciousness or whatnot. Like what happens for most people in the dream realm. So I remember we then started walking outside, and we started going down this like long driveway that was like next to a field, and it was really outdoors, and there was several miles of field to our right, and it was all clear, and you could see really far, like tens of miles far, mountains in the distance. So anyway, I remember walking, and then I became lucid, and all of a sudden I looked up, and there were two giant UFOs approaching from the skyline, and they got closer and closer, and they looked like bells kinda, and I remember they had balls on the ridge, where if you were to put two cereal bowls and close them on top of each other, and then put big balls big ball and then put balls on the rim where they connect, that's what it looked like. I will try to put a similar looking craft in the thumbnail of this video so you can get some perspective. So anyway, they started approaching, and I was like, "Look, Dad," and I pointed up, and that's when all of a sudden my root chakra just came alive, and it was extremely activated, and it was really tickly and fuzzy, and it basically what happened is the craft nearest to me started tractoring me in, and it latched onto my root chakra and pulled me up. And I remember flying in the air and looking down and being like, whoa, this is amazing. I was so happy. I remember that. There was no fear whatsoever. I was completely lucid during this time. And when I mean lucid, I mean aware. Like I knew I was in the 4D middle astral realm being abducted by extraterrestrials, okay? I have been waiting for this moment for a very long time. I've had a similar experience, but I've never been brought aboard a craft. Well, this time it happened. I kind of just, when they tractored me in, I phase shifted through the side of the craft into an area that looked like a gigantic football stadium, except for it was more like a Red Cross setup. There were chairs that looked like kind of like dentist chairs, but they looked a little more technological, and they were spaced several feet apart all over the place in an entire network all over the inside of this craft. And there were attendants sitting next to each seat, and there were people in the seats, and the people looked human, and the attendants looked human, and the attendants were extraterrestrials. They were the ones in the crafts, and they were all wearing similar jumpsuits that were navy blue with like a black lining on them. I don't remember specific details like what was on the suits. I have really fuzzy memory of the faces of everybody. I just remember they all looked really human. And anyway, I got tractored and pulled into the seat, and then I was kind of sitting there completely excited. I couldn't stop smiling. I just knew what to do. I sat in the seat, and immediately this attendant started working on me. I don't remember if it was a blonde person, brunette person, black person. You know, I don't remember any of that except for it was human. This was a human. I do remember there were other extraterrestrials spread sparsely throughout the complex or throughout the craft. I didn't really focus on them for very long. For some reason, I just intuitively knew what to do and what I was there for. It was really strange. Anyway, I sat in the seat, and this chair and this attendant started messing with started, I don't want to say operating, but it was energetic. It was doing some kind of energetic therapy to me. I have this strange intuitive feeling that it was removing etheric blockages and implants, because previous to this astral projection, I was kind of bitching to my higher self that I am completely aware that I still have addictive personality, and I firmly personally believe that I have an entity attachment, or at least some etheric implants. If you don't know what that is, you should check it out or watch my video Possession. So anyway, when I looked up from the chair and my attendant, I looked up and there was this being there, standing there. And I don't even know how to go about explaining this, but I'll try. It was definitely not human. It was wearing the jumpsuits like everybody else, but the limbs and hands and feet and head that were coming out of this jumpsuit was violet to pink energy, made of energy, this being was. And it reminded me of a creature that you would see on that old school clay animation show Gumby. So I don't know how to explain it. Like, it had its head, on top of its head, it had like these giant tentacles, like kind of like an octopus, but not, kind of like dreadlocks, but not. They were made of energy, and they were just waving all around. And I remember it looked at me and it smiled, and it just went like this. It goes and said hi to me like that. And I did it back, and I was just like completely happy. I don't know. But then it walked away, and then I just sat there, and I had kind of I have a blank in my memory at this point. So I just remember getting up out of the chair and then walking amongst the people, and then walking into a side room, and there were people everywhere sitting around tables talking, kind of like cafeteria tables, you know, the long tables, and people sitting on both sides talking to each other. And that's when the first person came up to me and said this, goes, the tunnel is open. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. And I just kept walking around. And then another person said it to me. And then another person said it to me. Okay. And then another blank in my memory. And I was in my bed. I woke up. This experience blew my mind and still is, and I don't know how to approach it. I'm being intuitively driven to share this information with you, in hopes that it will help somebody else. I am aware that there is a first contact mission amongst starseeds and benevolent ET factions to make first contact with each other, and that it would be through the astral realm and various other subtle means like telepathy. This is my, I believe, third contact, but this one has been the most extreme so far. So I don't know what to say except for, yes, I made contact. I went aboard a craft and I had some kind of energy work done on my astral body. And that I was told to share that the tunnel is open. Whatever that means. I'm sure there are many tunnels and vortexes and, you know, energy gateways and all kinds of shit open, but take that however you want to, and it means whatever it means for you. I will be trying to make contact again and again and again, but I'm not going to it'll happen when it needs to happen. It's an organic, intuitive process that I know that my higher self is in control over. So, anyway, I wanted to tell you, I found a really good astral projection technique that has been 90% effective. And I know I've given you parts of it in other videos, especially my video, Breathing and Fighting. I talk about this breathing technique that I intuitively discovered, where I kind of like breathe in the form of a pentacle with my heart and push out my electromagnetic field with my heart and my mind, envisioning a star. And I'll just go over that again. So anyway, this is how I astral project now, and it's extremely effective, and you should try it if you want to. It's for beginners or seasoned vets or whatever you want to call it, So what do is I usually set aside time to do it. It's not when I'm tired, I don't do it. It's because your body needs to have enough energy to be able to retain the photonic light information between your astral body and your physical body, or your astral brain and your physical brain. So it can't be when you're tired, because then your body uses a lot of light energy to repair itself and the cellular damage that you accrue during your waking hours. So you want it to either be like a nap type thing, or, like a nap or a meditation. This is what I do. I lay flat on my back in like a mummy position. I put my hands to my sides. I close my forefinger to my thumbs like that. I listen to theta wave binaural beats, because that's the brain wave that you want to entrain your brain to. That's the pure neutral state, the meditative state that your brain needs to be in. Basically, it's shut off and just neutral. And the way you do that is I focus only on my breathing, and I listen to theta wave binaural beats. Try to download them so that you don't have that extra electromagnetic radiation emanating from your cell phone or your computer when you're listening to it on YouTube or whatnot. So then I start the breathing process, and this is the breathing process that has been so effective, because you first need to shut off your mind, focusing on the breathing only, theta wave binaural beats, and then the second you want to shut off your body, and the way to do that is to not move, A, and B, to expand your heart field so that you have a really warm electromagnetic field pulsating through your entire body. And the way you want to do that is bring your attention and your focus down to your heart, okay? And then feel it beating, feel it pulsing, feel the warm tingling sensation inside there in the center in your heart chakra. Okay, so what you want to do is expand your awareness with your heartbeat. So the more it beats, you want to kind of try to envision pushing that warm pulsation down your limbs in the shape of a pentacle or a star down your legs, down your arms, up your head. So with each heartbeat, with each pulsation, envision it expanding and growing and growing. And with your exhalations, kind of push the energy out your limbs, up your head. If you do this long enough, you will be in a complete state of euphoria and fuzziness. I'm a recovering heroin addict, and this is one of the best highs I've ever had. And it's 100% natural and completely healthy for you. It's so healthy for you. So this removes all energetic blockages and just basically fills you with light, with the subtle light that we can't see, the life-giving life force. So, okay, so then usually you will be able to leave your body if your mind shut off and then your body shut off and it's completely fuzzy. I mean, you fully it's like you're blowing up a balloon, and the balloon is your astral body. That's what this breathing technique does. So you'll know when your body is numb and when your mind is really shut off, because you're just focusing on the breathing and you're barely aware of other aspects of consciousness. So at this point, this is when I usually will start to envision my astral leg coming out of my leg. And it's like you send the signals to the brain to move the legs up, but you don't physically move the physical legs with, with your mind. You just move your astral legs and kind of bring them out of your body. And you'll know, and the vibration will increase in your body. I want you to be aware of that. And it can feel kind of intimidating. If you haven't experienced it before, it can feel like you're having a heart attack, but keep going. Don't be afraid, because fear is the number one thing that will kick you in, keep you in your body and lower your vibration. So you want to not be afraid. Realize that you're not dying. You're not having a heart attack. This is simply your vibration raising enough to where you can leave your body. So keep going. And you don't have to start with your legs, pulling your astral body out with your legs. You can do your head first. So you can kind of envision sitting up in the bed. Just keep envisioning sitting up in the bed. And then after a while, you keep doing it. And if the timing is right, you will sit up. And then you want to remember to keep your eyes closed at this point. Keep your eyes closed the entire time, because your third eye will turn on. You'll be able to see through your third eye, through your astral eye. Okay, and how you do that is your astral eye is in the same place as your pineal gland in your physical body, and they are connected through a wormhole through the pineal gland and kept by an umbilical cord, or the silver cord as it's called. So don't try to open your eyes until you're completely out of body, and then you'll see, because when you see through your astral eye, everything is so much more energy oriented, and you'll know the difference. So yeah, that's the technique that I use. And it also, I want to say, don't overeat.